What's going on, y'all? It's Maya Monet. We're back at it again with another episode of No Motives. Hopefully, you've already subscribed. You've already liked this video. Just go ahead and drop it. If you like my intro, just drop that. Just drop a like real quick. Y'all, we're here. We're gonna talk about something on today's episode of No Motives Lifestyle Podcast. This is going to be episode, I guess technically 2, because the first one was like an intro. But episode 2, we're going to talk about your dreams. What about your dreams, you may ask? We're going to talk about what is feeding your dreams. What is feeding your dreams, right? So what is the first thing that you think of when you think about dreams? This could be biblically. This can be non-spiritual. What's the first thing when you think about when you hear the word dreams? Go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I'm gonna wait a second. 30 seconds. All right, not 30, maybe 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so the first thing I think of is definitely Joseph, king of dreams, right? Joseph, the nice man with the nice coat, had some dreams about his family, his brothers, his mom, his dad, and I'm gonna sum it up here. And he had a dream, and they basically ain't too much. They didn't dig it too much, right? They had an issue with it because the son had a dream that basically put him in a position of authority, right? His dream put him in a position where his older brothers were bowing down at him. His mother and father in one dream was bowing down, basically saying that he was, in a sense, in a higher place of authority. And his dream seemed far-fetched. His dream seemed unrealistic to some. His dream seemed like it didn't make sense, right? So, like I said, this podcast, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. It's going to be a nice mixture now. We're going to talk about life, right? So if we bring this episode, this situation, this series in the Bible to real modern day and time, we would probably equate this to us having a dream, telling our family and friends, and they're just saying everything but I hope that happens for you, right? They're saying things like, man, you tripping, man, what? That's never gonna happen, right? They're telling you everything against the dream that you feel so deeply and you believe strongly and firmly that it is your dream and your vision, right? That's what will be happening in the life today, in a situation today. And ultimately, this can be something that can be a little discouraging. I was talking with a group of friends recently, a community of young adults, and we were talking about how we believe most of the time, right, when we have a dream and we share with our family and friends, that they should be the first ones to support it. Yeah, that doesn't always happen. No disrespect, no motive, right? Some people will never accept or receive your dream. I see something online all the time, right? I've been going across it every so often, maybe every other day or so, for maybe the past 2 weeks. And it said, what did it say? I don't want to misquote it, but it said something along the lines of, everybody doesn't have to accept or receive your dream because it wasn't a conference call. Listen, y'all, when I heard that, or when I read it per se, I was like, yo, like that's real. I get where they're going. I understand where they're going. But I do also believe, like the other side of the token, you do need some people that firmly believe in the vision that God has given you. It could seem totally far-fetched. It could seem like something you're not capable of doing, but you need some people that can encourage you when you are not encouraged to follow and pursue your dreams. Like this, for instance, I can use myself as an example. This isn't something that I would have woke up one day and said, I'm going to do this. Nah. Like, I was okay. I was perfectly fine doing Momentum Mondays for 30 seconds, a minute tops, sharing a word and jumping off. But what I realized that small thing was causing an impact. And if that small thing was causing an impact, how much more of an impact can I make if I just took a little bit more time to do something else? So I had my brother, constantly, shout out to him. But I had my brother literally asking me every other day, Maya, are you ready to record? Are you ready? And you know why that was? It's because he believes in the vision that God placed inside of me. He may not know it in and out, right? But he has a good whiff. He has a good preview. He got some good insight on maybe where God is taking me, right? And he understands that this is just a stepping stone. This is just a building block to where I'm supposed to be and where I'm headed. So you need, going back to my point, you need people around you that will push you and that would encourage you in the faith, encourage you in your life, encourage you to pursue your dreams, right? Because when we don't have a clear idea where we're headed, what tends to happen is we're all over the place. We're doing some of everything and none of it aligns, right? So one day you're a chef, another day you're a dancer, another day you're a shoemaker, right? You're all over the place. Not saying in any way, shape, or form that God could not call you to different places, different things, to be skilled at different things, but not all of it I believe you should be doing at once, right? I believe that there's a time and a season for you to kind of be working on one thing, then navigate into this one, or make this a success and then navigate to the other thing. You know, I firmly believe that. I don't believe God will have us working on different things like all at one time, because honestly, I feel like as a person that can get overwhelming, right? That we could be overwhelmed trying to take on too much at once. Right. And that's a sidetrack conversation. But I had to learn how to say no. I had to learn how to set boundaries, because again, like I was sharing with my friend today, people will take until you have nothing left to give. The people will take. They will ask of you when you have little to nothing. They will request your services and ask and give you nothing in return. Like, people will take, and that's okay, because they have a need and you can fulfill that need, right? So human nature says, I need a person to fulfill the need that I have, and this person is in front of me and they're willing to help me to fulfill that need. But like I said, I digress. That's a sidebar. But back to, what are you feeding your dreams, right? So again, when you talk about the people that you have around you, you need people that's going to help, like I said, encourage you and applaud you when you achieve things according to the path, right? The path that you're supposed to go on, that journey that you're supposed to go on, that ultimately will lead up to your purpose, that will ultimately lead up to your calling, that will ultimately lead up into who you truly are in God, who you truly are in this earth, who you truly are, period. Y'all, period. Like, period. So again, back to what are you feeding your dreams? What are you feeding it? So just like anything, just like a human, just like animals, just like plants, we all need to be fed. Okay, follow me here. We all need to be fed. We all need to be poured into. We all need to be nurtured. We all need to be considered if we ever expect to grow. So just like all those three things that I named, people, plants, and animals, these things all need to be fed and nurtured in order to grow, right? Follow me. So does your dreams. That's a mic drop right there. That's a mic drop. But so does your dreams. Your dreams need to be fed. You can't. I'm not gonna say you can. Let me calm down a little bit. I'm gonna say you shouldn't just have a dream and never take time to nurture it. Never take time to feed it. How can you do those things? I can really hone in or speak on creativity, right? Because it's easy for creatives to, I think, kind of get a little lazy, right? Because most of the time we are naturally gifted, right? We have maybe a creative eye. We draw with ease. We might write with ease. We may sing with ease. And they may, again, I'm not saying that all of it, every aspect of creativity might be easy. There obviously may be some things you have to practice and, get better. But I think creatives, we tend to get a little bit lazy when we realize that I could kind of do this in my sleep, right? So now if you look or think about when God gives you a dream that aligns with your creativity, it's almost like, I don't really have to do that much work. Like, I shouldn't have to do that much work, right? Because I know, for me, I know how to take a good picture, so I shouldn't have to study photography. I shouldn't have to study how to make a good film. I shouldn't have to study what makes a good film, right? It just comes to me. Like, I could just think of an idea, I put it on paper, I go and shoot it. It should be that easy, right? But that would not make God sense, if you understand what I'm saying. That wouldn't make God sense, because that's almost like living in a perfect world, right? Why would we need a savior? If we weren't born and shaped in sin and iniquity, then why would we need a savior? So if we didn't have to work towards our dream, why would it be worth achieving? Why would there be any sense of satisfaction if there was nothing to work towards? If there were no hardship, if there were no challenges, there were nothing else for you to learn to make yourself better, then what's the point of having a dream to chase, to go after? What's the point of having a purpose or a call? What's the purpose of having a certain level of influence? What's the purpose? So again, going back to feeding your dreams, in order to make sure we're feeding our dreams things that will help us grow, we have to pay attention to what we're currently eating, right? So you got to take a moment to not really adjust, but reflect on what am I feeding my dreams? Am I feeding my dreams anxiety? Am I feeding my dreams frustration, irritation, aggravation? Am I feeding my dreams being worried? What is your state of mind when working on these things? Because what tends to happen, and this is part of the reason why I was kind of on and off when it came to even my Momentum Mondays, I'm not going to give y'all something if I am not in the right headspace. If I feel anxious and irritated and all that stuff, I got to get my mind right. I need to be in prayer. I need to be in my prayer closet. I need to be in worship. If I plan on sharing with you guys something that is worth something. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like it's fair to give somebody something that you wouldn't eat. Right? I'm not going to recommend something that I personally don't agree with. I'm not. I shouldn't, right? I feel like that's human. That's common sense. That's human kindness, right? Like, why would I tell you to do something that I wouldn't do myself? Because, like, where's your heart in that? What is your motive in that? What do you get in that? Like, ultimately, why are you recommending something that you wouldn't do or go to yourself? Right? Why do you think marketing, word of mouth marketing, is one of the most powerful tools? Why is it the most effective, one of the most effective tools in marketing? Why? Because why would you recommend me to go to a company, a restaurant, a place, a thing, whatever? Why would you recommend me to go to these things and you yourself would not go to it, would not buy from that place, would not eat from that place, would not visit that place, would not stay that place? Why? So evaluate why or what. That's really what I'm gonna say. Evaluate what you're feeding your dreams, because ultimately what you feed your dreams is how your dream is going to grow. I don't know if you guys ever heard or seen the example or the science experiment when a teacher explains how negative words and positive words can affect things, right? So he explains how he has two different plants. One plant here he labels, let's say, negative. Another plant here he labels positive. In the negative plant, he only speaks negative words. He curses at it. He says, he downplays whatever negative thing he can do to that plant. It's a plant, sprouted plant, and everything is good, it's chilling, it's getting somewhere. But he speaks nothing but negative things to that plant. What happens to it? I'm gonna stop right there. He speaks nothing but positive things to this plant. What do you think happens? Right? So if you haven't heard of that experiment, what ends up happening is the negative plant dies. It doesn't slow down or stunt its growth. It dies. It is actually, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture, but it is actually brown and black, dead. It is no longer living because he has sat and he has spoken so many negative things over the plant that it decides that it no longer wants to fulfill its purpose. Now, the positive one continues to grow, continues to flourish, continues to fulfill what it was supposed to do because it had positive things being spoken into it. Now, again, I ask you, what are you feeding your dreams? So when you're evaluating what are you feeding your dreams, think about what you say about your dreams, whether that's out loud or subconsciously. Listen, y'all, your subconscious is taking note of everything you say, everything you do, whether you're playing or not. You have to be aware. You have to pay attention to what and how you're thinking when it comes to certain things. Not even certain things, all things. But right now we're talking about your dreams. So when you're thinking and talking about your dreams, watch what you're thinking. Watch how you're thinking and why you're thinking it, because you're probably delaying your own dream from happening. Think about that. Maybe you're the delay, you're the barrier that's coming in the way from your success, that's coming in the way from God using you the way he wishes to use you. You're coming in the way because you say things like, I'm not worth it. I can't do that. I'm not this, I'm not that. That's what, like, again, this is things that you might not ever say out loud. You could think it. You can think it and it affects your spirit, man. So like we have to be, again, like I said, more aware, more vigilant. If you watch my Momentum Monday, more vigilant at these things, because what you are feeding your dreams matter. What you're allowing people to tell you about your dreams matter. What you're saying or not saying about your dreams, it matters. So ultimately, we want to make sure that when we are considering our dreams, when we're considering pursuing nothing but the best that God has for us, that we are being very much aware of how we are navigating our thoughts, how we're navigating our words, what we're listening to, right? Whether that be people or music. Because like I said, y'all, this podcast, we're not only going to talk about creativity, we're not only going to talk about music, we're not only going to talk about these things. We got to talk about some life, we got to talk about some scripture, we got to have some biblical truths. If you know, you know, but you got to have some biblical truths. You have to have a biblical foundation for what you do and why you do it. Why? Because if you have a biblical truth or a biblical foundation, then it won't move. If your why is a biblical truth, if your why has to do with why God has created you, the biblical foundation, the cornerstone of your life, the reason why you're doing it, if it is built on Christ, if it's built on what God wants to use you for, and if it's built on what God has shown you needs to be done in the earth, then it won't fail. But you have to know within your own heart, your hearts of hearts, like people say, that this is really what God is telling you to do. You have to pray. You have to know what God is saying. Because if there's nobody around you, if there's no opportunity to get to the next pastor or the preacher or the intercessor, if there's no opportunity to get to them, can you hear God for yourself? Can you hear God for yourself? That's the real question. Like, G to G. Pastors are wonderful. Preachers are wonderful. Prophets, apostles, teachers, evangelists. Everybody is wonderful in their call, in their office. But we have to have an intimate relationship with God for ourselves. If we don't, we're already missing it. I seen something, a guy was talking about how we glorify the offices and the calls so much that we forget that the step number one is to have a relationship with God himself. We have to have a relationship with Christ himself. We have to build on something, so much so that we recognize when God is speaking, even through people, through situations. We hear God in those situations, but if we don't have a personal relationship with God for ourselves, then we might not be able to recognize his voice. And maybe once upon a time you did, but the more you stay away from somebody, you kind of forget how they sound. The more you stay away from somebody, you kind of forget some of the memories that you had, the experiences, the places that you've experienced with them. Like, they change, they dwindle, right? So that's part of the reason why God admonishes us, or I guess you could say urges us to commune with him daily. Not once a month, not once a week. He says that daily we should sit and chill with him. Daily we should sit and talk to him. Daily we should take time to just hear what he has to say to us. Daily should we eat of his bread. Daily should we find out what he's saying to us. Daily. And this for me too, y'all. Like, I promise you, I'm not saying that I am perfect, and I'm probably gonna say that in every episode, because I think that what ends up happening, a lot of people think that people with mics or platforms or equipment, right, that we are ultimately saying that we're better than everybody. That's not the case. That's not the case. I can't speak for everybody, but I can say for sure that some people understand that we fall short of the glory, but we understand that there's a voice or even a message that it might reach one person, that in order for it to reach that one person that we may never physically encounter, I gotta post it. And my prayer is always that God gets the glory at the end of it. Because not everything we do, not everything, like, this is something like I'm really grasping in this season of my life. The Bible tells us that one plants, one waters, but God will bring the increase. As a people, we have to stop trying to bring the increase ourselves. Like, I'm going to witness to this stranger, for instance, and I want them to get saved today. Right, God? Like, you told me I should go talk to them. They're going to get saved today. I can't wait to go to work because I'm going to witness. I'm going to tell them about my life story. And God, you're going to bring them out of whatever bondage they're in. Right? So you go to work. And you talk to this person. You witness to them. You tell them your life story. And they walk away, not saying a word. Matter of fact, some people might even curse you out. Like, why do you even think I need help? This guy was explaining his testimony of how he was 12 years old. And this guy witnessed to him. This guy told him about Jesus, or asked him, like, yo, where do you go after this? You die tomorrow. Where do you go? And he planted a seed. This guy who was telling the story said he cursed him out. He told him, he's 12 years old now. Mind you, this guy who's telling the story, when the guy witnessed to him, he was 12 years old. So old boy was like, yo, forget you, telling him off. The guy who's telling the story is now a pastor, a youth pastor. And he explained how if that guy probably never witnessed to him, that he wouldn't know if he would be doing what he's doing now. He said the day that he spoke to him, even though he cursed him out or whatever, he ran away, whatever, he said that day he knew a seed was planted in him. He constantly thought about that. If that guy was so arrogant or prideful and decided, man, I'm not gonna let this man talk to me, he don't know what God I serve, I'm gonna curse him, whatever, we say some crazy stuff sometimes. But let's say that was a man's response. The seed that he planted, he would have also ripped up immediately. He would have planted the seed and ripped it up based on his response, because of the guy's response. Don't do that. We can't do that. So we're going to witness. We got to know that God will bring the increase. We might be planting in that season. We might be watering in that season, but God will do the work. And if he grants us the opportunity to actually see the manifestation of the seed that we watered and planted, to God be the glory. If we don't see it, to God be the glory. Because it should not be that we're doing these things so we can be glorified, so we can say, look what I did. Like, that shouldn't be the case. So again, guys, I'm gonna close all this up because I think we going. We about 30 minutes in now. I'm gonna close all this up. But y'all, watch what you feed in your dreams. I'm gonna just end on this note talking about what we can feed our dreams. We could feed our dreams the word. We could feed our dreams with worship, right? When you feel discouraged, when you feel like you don't know what to create, how to create it, what to do, what to study, what to learn, right? I promise you, I think worship has taken me to another place, right? Because mentally it teaches me something. It just puts me in just a right frame of mind. And as a creative, I feel like it's so important for our frame of mind to be correct. Like, we can't create out of a dark place because we create dark art, right? We can't create out of or I'm not gonna say we can't, because we can, right? Because it still helps people. But I would say, to get the most pure situation, you should be creating out of better places. So back to solutions. So yeah, Bible, worship, finding people, like-minded people in some type of community that you can agree with, that you can walk with, that you can vibe with, that you feel accepted in, right? It's so important that community is so important. You need a tribe, you need a people, you need a group that you can confide in, that you could ask for help and assistance and not feel rejected. You need that. So that's key. What's another solution we have? Just thinking. But yeah, those are a few that I could think of for sure. Read books, journal, all types of things. Some of these do align with self-care. Hint, hint, right? Sometimes we feed our dreams negatively because we're not taking care of self. I told y'all, this is a lifestyle podcast. I just feel like I'm everywhere right now, but listen, if you don't take care of self, then your art will suffer. I'm gonna say that one more time. If you don't take care of self, your art will suffer. So ultimately, again, guys, feed your dreams good things. Good things come from the word. Good things come from godly people. Good things come from good environments. Good things come from the creator himself. So I'm gonna just close up right here, guys. Thank you again for joining the No Motives podcast with Maya Monet. I can't wait to see you the next time I post. But I'm excited. Again, make sure you come each and every week. I haven't decided what day yet, but just keep coming back. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you can know when I post another video. Y'all be great out there. My name is Maya Monet, and we out with another one.